Good afternoon from Los Angeles. It's Alissa Coram and Justin Nielsen here with a look at the stock market today. It is Wednesday, February 27th, and on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at Palo Alto moving on earnings, plus a preview of another name, a lesser-known name that could be moving on its report as well.
We'll see.
All right, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll give you the breakdown here, but first, let's check in with the major indexes. We finished narrowly mixed, the Nasdaq finishing up less than 0.1% after being pretty down early, and then we also had the S&P 500 closing well off the lows, down less than 0.1%, and then Dow finishing down at 0.3%. So some nice support for the Nasdaq today.
Yeah, and that's the big story here is, you know, everyone's kind of looking at how far we've come up. You know, and we've been expecting that pause. We've been getting it.
Right.
Monday, we saw some very strong action, and it was like, okay, well, is it off to the races again? What's happening here?
Yeah.
And then we've really not gone anywhere since then. But here's the big thing to look at. We were talking so much about the 200-day moving average and how the 7,500 level on the Nasdaq is something to be aware of.
As a resistance level.
As a resistance level. And what often happens, who knows why, psychological, whatever, resistance often becomes support. So that's what happened here. So you saw the Nasdaq was off more than 0.8% at its lows today, but it got support right there at the 200-day moving average, right there at 7,500. That's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, very positive. So now that resistance level has turned into support. So moving forward, going from here, this will be a tell for us as far as the strength, the continued strength of this uptrend.
Right, and a lot of people look at it. A lot of people are, you know, technicians are all looking at these same levels. So if it doesn't get support there, if institutions decide, oh, you know what, it's falling and I'm not going to come in and buy and support it, that tells you something. And that can kind of almost, you know, cause investors to shy away a little bit more. And sometimes it will actually do like an information cascade, what they call in like psychological terms. You know, the selling begets more selling, begets more selling. And so we don't want to see that happen. So what we'd like to see is exactly what we saw today, support.
Continued support.
Continued support.
And gains. All right, well, we'll continue watching that. And we want to check in with Palo Alto, which finished the day up over 8% in heavy volume, gapping up on earnings. And we have the relative strength line looking pretty bullish. But as far as how to play this, gap ups, I mean, this is something that we've been talking about all earnings season long. So let's go into a little bit of the specifics with the Palo Alto trade today.
This one would have been tough because we've been saying a number of times, we use Zendesk as an example. I know Chris brought it up, how if you've got a stock where in the first 5-minute bar or the first minute bar, it's not looking, you know, positive, then you probably want to shy away from it. And that's what happened with Palo Alto. For as much as it was up, you know, it was up more at the beginning of the day. Now, it held its gains pretty well. So there's nothing wrong with it if you own the stock. In this case, the way that we played this on leaderboard was we actually did an option play ahead of the earnings. We saw, look, this is something that's setting up. We got the option with a strike price of $235. We paid $870. We know that we're paying up for it because of the higher implied volatility, but we're okay with that because we're not really trying to do the option play. We actually want to exercise. We want to own the stock. So in this case, yes, we doubled our option, you know, premium. You know, we're more than 100% on that trade, but that's not what's important here. What's important is we can buy this stock now at $235 if we exercise the option, and it's trading at $255.
Right. So for those who didn't take advantage of the option play here, what are some other strategies? You know, because there is risk buying at the beginning of the session, so maybe starting with a half position.
Yeah, that's one thing to do, and again, that's why we look at that 5-minute bar, that first 5-minute bar, to kind of get a lay of the land. You know, okay, is this something that's going to continue moving today? If it's moving very fast, you know, getting into that first 5 minutes can be very important. But if it's something where, you know, that first 5 minutes can be the top of the entire day, and sometimes it goes down even further. Viva, for instance, today. I mean, that was one where it had a strong look at the beginning, but throughout the day it just kept on going down and down. Now, that was another leaderboard name that we had previously. We already had a 20% gain on it, so we just took the profits on that.
Right. Well, definitely those are some key things to keep in mind. We have more stocks still. It's hard to believe it.
Right, exactly.
It's still going on.
Still, really?
But,
I mean, here we are a month into it, and it's still a lot of big names, like at least on our radar.
Growth,
right, at least on our radar. The ones that are the high composite, you're talking, composite ratings of 90 or higher, and those are kind of where we like to look. For example, we have ANSS. That's another one that is reporting after the close today, so I'm not sure if it's reported already, but we are taking a look at that one because, okay, here's another one. This already broke out, but it held very tightly, and so it's especially these ones where they're holding tight or they're right around breakout periods. So we'll look at this one tomorrow. We can use those same rules. What does it look like in that first 1 minute bar? What does it look like in that first 5 minute bar? If this looks like a gap up, very strong, then hey, maybe this is something that we decide to play. If it doesn't, then we're not putting our money at risk, and no harm, no foul. Right.
Oftentimes, I feel like, especially this earnings season, we've seen a lot of these gaps really hold. Stocks extending their gains. Xilinx, is a great example of this.
We put that on leaderboard on that day, and we are up significantly on it. Same thing with Trade Desk. We were up like 10% on Trade Desk that day because we bought it off the first 5 minute bar. So,
so we'll be keeping our eye on this software stock. Like you said, results out tonight. Not seeing it's a small cap stock, so we're not seeing any movement really after hours as of yet. So we'll have to see how it opens tomorrow, and then also reporting tomorrow we have a trio more software stocks. It's software. Top performing sector so far this year, and a couple of names looking good heading into their reports as well.
So you've got, again, these high composite rating stocks that we're keeping our eye on. You've got Alarm.com, you've got Autodesk, you've got Zscaler, you've got Splunk. Am I missing anyone? I mean, there's just, and again, it seems like we've had a prolonged earnings season here, and but that's what we're dealt with. So we're taking a look at these.
Lots of buying opportunities.
And again, we're going to be very careful. Even if the after hours action is looking very strong, we're very cautious of kind of wading into that pool. You have to be very careful to look at the volume behind some of those trades. You see, oh, it's up so much, and it's like there's 100 shares behind that trade. That's not, that doesn't tell you anything. So it's really best to kind of look at that first 5 minutes after the open of the market.
All right, well, some great strategies to deploy here still this week with names set to report their earnings. And for details on some of the names that we mentioned at the end, those software names, make sure to head to leaderboard.investors.com for a look at the watch list stocks, those that are on the leaders list and those that are near buy points.
And
a lot of great trade ideas.
Another place to look is the investing action plan. I mean, we put that together every day, and it's a really kind of guide to look. This is what you need to pay attention to.
Earnings that are coming up. And the estimates.
Everything. I mean, that's right under the research tab on investors.com.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you right back here tomorrow. But in the meantime, make sure you're heading to investors.com for all the latest stock news and analysis, and that you're following us across social media, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, so you can stay up to date with all the latest. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you back here tomorrow.